Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we'll be writing some code in order to handle the event. So in the previous tutorial what we have done is that we have created the simple interface so that we could use this as an example for event handling. So what we are trying to achieve here is that when we click this button right here, the text right over here is going to change. So now let's go ahead and let's get started with the tutorial. So the first thing which we need to do is that in order to handle any event, we need to first add an event listener, and then we are going to use the callback method. So the first thing which we need to do is that we need to detect the event which has occurred. So in order to do that, the first thing which we need to do is that we need a reference to the button. So in order to get the reference to the button, we simply use the ID of the button. So in order to get reference, we type button, and then the name of our button is my button. Then we type equals in brackets button, which is used for typecasting, and then we find the button by ID. So in order to find the button by ID, we use a method which is called as find view by ID. So we type find view by ID, and inside the ID we are going to specify the ID of the button. So we type r dot id dot my button, and we are going to have a reference to our button due to this line of code. Now once we have a reference to our button, the next thing which we do is that we need to add up an action listener to the button. So as in this case we are working with the click option or the click event. So basically we add an on-click listener to our button. So in order to add an on-click listener to the button, first we specify the button name. So in this case the button name is my button, and then in order to add up on-click listener to it, we give a dot operator, and then we type set on click listener, and it is going to add up an on click listener to our button. Now the next thing which we want to do is that we want to add a callback method inside this on click listener, and a callback method is basically a method which is going to get called when a click event related to this button occurs. So in order to set up a callback method, the first thing which we need to do is that we need to create an interface. Now in order to create an interface, what we do is that we type the keyword new, then we type button, then we give a dot operator, and we type on click listener, and it is going to add up the interface for us. Now once this interface is set up, we are going to go ahead and we are going to add up the callback method into this interface. So in order to create a callback method, we type public void on click, and in the parameters we are going to use the view. So we type view, and we name our view as, let's say, v, and inside it we specify the code which we want to perform. So the first thing which we need to do is that on click of a button we want to change the text of my text. So we type text view, and let's name the text view as my text. Then we type equals, and in order to typecast it, we type text view again inside parentheses. So if you know Java, you could understand what typecasting is. And we go out of the parentheses, and then we type find view by ID, and as we are going to need the ID to the button, so we type r dot id dot my button. And now once we are done with this, the final thing which we need to do is that we need to change the text of the large text. So in order to do that, we type my text, which is name of our text. Then we use a method which is called as set text in order to change the text. So we type my text dot set text, and inside double quotes we specify the text which we want to display. So let's say we type button click. Now I think I have by mistake added this parentheses and a semicolon, so I go ahead and delete it. Now once this is done, we save our code. Now I think I have done a simple mistake right over here. So this actually should not be my button, it should actually be my text, as we are going to change the text of the text view and not the button. So here we type my text. Now once this is done, the next thing which we do is that we save the code and we run our code onto the emulator so as to check if we have done everything correctly. So let's go ahead and run our application on the emulator. So as you could see, we have our application up and running on the emulator. So the text which it is displaying is hello, and the text on the button is displaying click here. Now if you click the button right here, the text here is going to change to button click. So basically we are successful in creating an action listener for this button right here. So when we click the button, the text right here changed. So we are successful in creating our application. So basically in this tutorial we have used event handling concepts in order to handle a particular event. So basically an event is nothing but some user actions like click of a button, double tapping a button, or any other activity performed by the user. So basically in event handling we have two parts. The first part is going to be the event listener and the second part is going to be the callback method. So basically a event listener is nothing but it is a listener which keeps on listening for some event to happen, and when that particular event happens it is going to perform a set of code which are being listed inside the callback method. So in this tutorial our main intention was we had a text right and we had a button right here, and when we clicked on the button we wanted to change the text right here. So what we did is that we have added a click listener to this button right here so that when the click event happens we change the text. So in order to change the text, what we have done is that inside the callback methods we have specified the code in order to change the text of this text area right here. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.